pancakes, your oatmeal, and in your daily smoothie. Chia seeds have omega-3. Come on, sing this song with me. Chia seeds have omega-3. Grind them up and sing yippee as you see them in your pancakes, your oatmeal, and in your daily smoothie.
Do you want the good news first or the bad news first? Usually I want the bad news first because I like to end things on a positive note. So let's start with that. For some reason, I find older people interesting. I always think that they're going to be more intelligent, have more life experience, and be wiser. But unfortunately, it's not always the case. Sometimes younger people are actually wiser or more intelligent. But anyway, I go to this coffee shop and I hang out with some older people there. And one of them is a religious guy. He carries around a Bible. And this is like so much the opposite of what I would do, because I don't believe in fantasy and I don't think that religion is helpful in the world for the most part. I think it causes a lot of wars and there's a lot of hypocrisy there. But anyway, you know, I still talk to everybody and try to understand where they're coming from. Well, one day this gentleman made a deal with me. After knowing me for a while, he said, you know what? I can promise you that I will never eat cheese or drink milk or take in any more dairy products and no eggs from now on. So I was like, that's great. And I left it at that, not talking about the meat, but just assuming that that would follow because it's all along the same lines. Well, a few weeks later, I saw this guy going up to the counter and buying a scone, which I know contains either milk or eggs. And I didn't say anything. And it was kind of disappointing because I thought to myself, well, here we go again. Here's another religious person who doesn't keep their word. Later on, it turned out that he forgot or just wasn't thinking about it. I'm not sure why. Bought it for his wife or some excuse or other. But anyway, on we continue. Later on, after a few more weeks, I said to him, hey, so what stops you from being completely vegan? And he said, I will never stop eating meat. And I said, why? I mean, isn't the whole reason that you're not eating dairy and you're not eating eggs because you care about the animals? And he said, yes, it's also good for my health, but yes. And I said, but you are still now paying for murder because you're still eating burgers and steak and bacon and chicken and God knows whatever else. And he said, that's where it stops. And I said, okay. And I said, may I ask why? And he said, because at home, my wife does the cooking. To which I had to suppress bursting out into laughter. Now, this is a gentleman who's at least 20 years older than me, but totally able to function, walks around, has hands, can go to the store, can stir a pot, can chop up some things, you know, can open a package of lentils or rice or chickpeas, can, you know, look up a recipe in a book or Google it. I mean, he has the internet, he has a cell phone, he's completely capable of taking care of himself. But he said, my wife does the cooking and I don't want to disturb things. So I said, let me get this straight. You're going to continue to be a mean person, to keep hurting the animals because you don't want to disrupt your house, because you are going to let this woman who lives with you, your wife, bully you into being mean to animals, into being an animal abuser, because every time you pay money, that's what you're doing. And he said, that's as far as I want to go. I said, okay. And I stood up and walked away. Now, following that, I would say hi to him and things like that. So it wasn't like, we didn't keep talking to each other, but I knew in my head that this person was never going to be a friend of mine, because to me, a friend or somebody who is kind is somebody who's going to work towards becoming vegan, not just say, I'm doing this and then stopping. It's like saying, I'm going to try to stop being racist, but I can promise you that for at least 2 or 3 days of the week, I'm just going to keep on being racist. How crazy is that? Like something's not going into the head and something's not going into the heart. Anyway, now on to the good stuff. So a good thing that happened was that another gentleman who I have been talking to for a long time, who also said, I don't want to hear about your veganism, your cult, and all this crap, and we've been eating meat for thousands of years, and you have to get it into your head that you're in la la land, we're never going to have a vegan world, what would you do if you were on an island alone with a pig, and on, and all the same stuff over and over again. Except what I thought was very interesting is that about a month ago, or maybe more, I actually introduced these two gentlemen to one another, and I said, it's amazing you both lived here so long and you don't know each other. You guys should be friends. They come to the same coffee shop, they're about the same age, they both lived here for a really long time. So I noticed that they would chat with each other. Well, the interesting thing is that the gentleman who said that he would cut down on, in fact, cut out completely eating dairy products and eggs, managed to talk to the other guy. And somehow, over time, as I explain to you often on this channel, it takes 100 clicks to become vegan. Well, this guy managed to somehow get this guy to say to me one day, to agree or whatever, he said to me one day, I came in and he said, guess what? And I said, what? He said, well, miracles happen. And I said, what happened? And he said, well, I've been, listening to you. I said, okay. And he said, well, I decided to eat chia seeds and flax seeds every morning. I said, okay, you're grinding them up? He said, yeah. He says, I've been doing it for months. I'm like, oh, really? That's great. That's super healthy. And those are vegan foods. He goes, yeah. He says, I'm not vegan, but he says, I started to buy almond milk. I was speechless. I'm rarely speechless, but I was completely speechless, because you have to understand how opposed this guy was, how he would just not even ever look at almond milk. And I don't know what was in his coffee at that time, and I was afraid to ask because most likely it wasn't. But the fact of the matter is that he did this. He was going to reach for the dairy milk in the store, but instead he moved his hand over and he took not 1 carton but 2 cartons of almond milk, put them in his shopping cart. Somehow peace entered his heart. Somehow love entered his heart. Something happened. It takes 100 clicks to become vegan. You got to get the message into your head and know that it is healthy, that it is sane, that doctors are vegan, that athletes are vegan, that pregnant mothers can be vegan, that brand new babies are all born vegan because their mother's milk belongs to them. And once you get that into your head, all the facts, then you can start to realize that I don't want to hurt animals. And you start to open up your heart. And this is what's happening. So it's strange, isn't it? Because, you could claim that I should take all the credit for this guy drinking the almond milk, but I don't. I give this other guy, this stubborn guy, the credit for that. Because I've seen the two of them talking, and he gets it about what's happening to the dairy industry. He really doesn't want to hurt the cows. He doesn't want to take the baby cows away from their mothers and have their throats cut because they're male and they'll never be able to grow up to give milk. He doesn't want the mothers to be sexually assaulted. He feels through the cows. He feels through the baby chicks, the baby boy chicks who go on these assembly lines. And when someone sees that they're male, they put them on another assembly line and macerate them. He doesn't want that to happen, but he can't seem to penetrate his wife's kitchen and say, honey, I don't want to eat animals anymore. That part he can't do yet. Did I just say yet? Do I have hope for that guy? Mr. Religious? Do I have hope for that guy? Mr. Not Religious? Mr. Grumpy, I read the newspaper every day and I'm for guns and I'm for, law and order and the way things were. I don't know what's going on, guys. Basically, I just think in general, we've had some positive steps. We've had a few good things happen. And, this is why you must never stop your activism. This is why you must always continue. Talk. Raise awareness. Wear your shirts. Create dialogue. Inspire people. Give people shit. Call out the hypocrisy whenever you can. And, understand that it takes 100 clicks to become vegan. So thank you all so much for being here and listening to my talk. And I will keep you up to date about what happens. And you guys tell me in the comments below if you've had some similar situations happen to you, where you really thought that this person in your life is never going to become vegan, and then they start to show some signs. And if you're new here and you haven't yet watched the important documentaries, please watch Dominion. You go to watchdominion.com. 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 Type the whole thing in and educate yourself and know what happens. Thank you so much for being here. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of other videos. Click on them. Be curious. Subscribe. Tap the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Let's follow that vegan teacher on YouTube right now. Let's help her save every chicken, pig, and cow. Let's follow that vegan teacher on YouTube right now. Let's put our empathy into action. Miss KADIE will show us